Hello, we are back, I think by popular demand, or just there was nothing else to do on this Monday morning. We are back. We've got stuff going on back in the screens. I feel like I'm reading the news. We're back. There's stuff to talk about. Spurs have played a football match. We've made a signing. Maybe should have been more. There's stuff to talk about. Joining me on this Monday morning, as the season returns, catering supremo, Adam Nathan. Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good, good. What do we call you? Journalists extraordinaire?
Married man.
Married man. Catered by Adam Nathan. This episode will be sponsored by Adam Nathan Catering. He doesn't know it yet.
No, not yet. But checks keep bouncing, so I'm not sure we can necessarily say we've not squared the circle just yet. But once that's done, then we're fine.
It's Jake Saunders. Hello.
How are you?
All right, you. And a man that went to Reading away.
I did.
Well done. It's James Robbins. Hello.
Hello, hello.
So we've got unusual. We've got 4 in the studio. It's pre-season. You've got to use your squad. People are going to go, where's Gary? Well, there is no Gary. He's part of the squad rotation. He's not here. He's back from summer late, like Odebear and Tell.
We're showing our tactical flexibility. Going 4 this week. Might be a 3 next week. You just never know.
Under Ange, we just played the same way
every time.
I just did 3 in the studio.
We rotate more than most of our managers ever have.
I can't see the comments because there's a chair in the way. So
Hi, I'm from Leicester. Been a Spurs supporter since 1960.
Who you?
Spurs fan from Portugal, living in Oz since 1990. Is this a new theme?
everyone's letting us know. Yeah, this is it. Everyone's introducing themselves. This is like gamblers. This is like Alcohol Anonymous.
Yeah. What's your name? Where are you from?
What's your name? Well, I will do that this morning. What's your name and where you're from?
Portugal.
Big dates like that make me nervous to be a Spurs fan circa 2008.
What's that? Why did you choose Spurs? I can understand why people chose Spurs in 1990.
My mother and Luka Modric.
Your mother is Luka Modric?
Yes, my mother is Luka Modric.
That would be great, to be fair.
They've shared some hairstyles. Should love hearing this.
I want to do, before we start, a shout out to our listener, Daniel Samford, who I understand is recovering from, or has pneumonia, is recovering from pneumonia. So we wish you well, Daniel. I hope listening to this makes you feel better. All right, we're going to get into it. We're going to go sort of all the way back. The last time we were on, actually, you know what we're going to do while our producer James is in the room, is talk about cricket. Because the Echo group, there's not been too much to talk about with Spurs, and it's just been flooded with cricket. And I think James stormed out 6 times. Just to piss him off, let's talk about cricket for a couple of minutes.
Let's do it.
And Hutch is from Taunton, Somerset, which is
cricket
very
country.
crickety.
Cricket country. All right, well, what have you been doing over this summer? We'll start with a bit of that. A bit of cricket ad, a bit of catering. What, you had a holiday yet?
No holidays yet, but yeah, cricket and catering have been the main 2. Cricket, catering, and I'm trying to think of another C that I can... criticising transfer activity. There you go. That's proper tabloid stuff there from me. Getting the alliteration, which we'll get into. But no, it's just been a lot of work. The cricket's been a nice little weird not having a match. Whilst I want the players to get some rest, it was weird not to have a test match this last weekend. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the one coming up.
Yeah, very much so. Jake.
Yeah.
Got married, mate.
Got married. Watched a lot of cricket.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. How was the food?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Not how was the wedding? How was the party?
Well,
everyone
cooked it.
It was high praise of it. So,
there you go.
It was perfect.
And James Robbins, no cricket for you.
No, yeah, you were trying to annoy both Jameses, I think. I'd scroll in and I'd find one Spurs message in between all of the cricket chat. Just like, okay, there's one. I can reply to that. Fantastic.
That was actually a Love Island message, though.
Yes.
It's also Love Island.
Then there was loads of talk about Shakira from Gary, and I'm like, oh, the singer? He's like, no.
The pod's at an all-time
low.
The
high here.
the chat has been a mess. But
all right, well, let's try and raise the chat. So we go all the way back. Last time we were on was when Frank was appointed. I know, James, you've been propping up the pod with a couple of videos. You did a transfer chat and a recent squad chat, which is great. Go and look at those. James did a couple of streams. Thank you for that. Keeping us going. Well,
I think we've had enough links for another transfer one now. Keeping your Excel up and running.
Yeah, I started an Excel sheet of like ITKs and the nonsense that they spouted, but there's so much nonsense spouted that I got bored. But I think you've taken it over.
I chuck a name in. I don't do as much detail as yourself with the what was said in the headline, etc. But just name, someone said it, and I think we're up to over 50 at this point.
50 players.
It's something ridiculous.
Yeah, well, this is what happens. But all right, so the club news really, since we last were here, was that we have made some signings. Danso and Tell were made permanent. Kota Takai, who we'll come to again. James, I know you spoke to a Japanese journo. And for me, a really good signing, Mohammed Kudus. And then after we signed Kudus, we were a massive club for 2 days, or not even, because we were going to sign one day. We were going to sign Morgan Gibbs-White, and it never happened. And it's still rambling, and no one knows what's going on. Well, maybe we'll talk about what Gibbs-White, or the kind of player he is that we might be wanting, but I don't want to talk too much about why it hasn't happened and what might happen, because nobody knows. Even the people who pretend to know don't know. But thoughts on... no, they don't know. Thoughts on Danso and Tell being made permanent first?
I'm not having it as summer signings.
Yeah,
I think it's one of those things that like people will use it as, look, we signed Danso and Tell in the summer, but also use it as in January we strengthened with Danso and Tell.
I don't think it's an obligation anyway, wasn't it? So it doesn't really count.
He signed in January, and it's financial reporting. Isn't it?
Yeah, like I've seen people saying like Bergvall was a summer signing last year or something when he was clearly signed in January. I think when you've not had the window that you're necessarily looking for, you try and sort of stat pad it with a couple of guys signed in January. So very happy they're here.
Danso, yes.
Tell's different because we weren't guaranteed to sign him.
It felt a bit of a fait accompli.
But I do forget that we've signed him this summer.
That's not a good sign.
No, but as in like I just because he was here and the club was still tweeting about him throughout the under-21 Euros, and then we just suddenly...
the way he was reported, it felt like it was always going to happen.
Was it even officially announced?
It did get announced.
I completely missed
that.
Yeah,
it did get announced.
It was.
He scored a penalty for France, and there was a silly little emoji, something about pens and signing.
Oh, no, not Tell, so Danso.
Oh, no, that was just a long...
Okay, fine. Tell her, I was glad we got the fee lower because I think the initial quoted one was a bit mad for him, but happy we have him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's definitely a player that we talked about it last season. Raw, there's a player there. Who knows where he's going to play at the moment? We'll come to the Reading game, but there's a player stuck out on the left wing that no one's sure is going to be here or even wants to be here, or even if we want him to be here.
There's no way to talk about Mikey Moore. He's only young.
All right, those two. We'll come to Mohammed Kudus soon. James, Kota Takai, £5 million, 20-year-old Japanese central defender from Kawasaki Frontale, which I thought was a motorbike. 4 caps for Japan, 79 apps for Kawasaki. So quite experienced in Asian football for a 20-year-old. 20-year-old centre halves from Asia. I don't think they're going to get too much game time straight away. But you spoke to someone who knows about him.
Yes, so I spoke to Henry Withing, who's a young, budding journalist who wants to focus on Asian football. He said he has his family has a friendship with Tim Vickery. He wants to be the Asian League Tim Vickery.
Okay.
And then I spoke to Ryo Nakagawara. Hard to say that 5 times over. He was
once,
really once. He runs a newsletter called Shogun Soccer. And,
that sounds like an old football game for the Amiga.
It does. He was really, really cool. He's a Japanese football expert. He follows players in J-League and all around. So he was telling me Takai didn't do the normal development process in Japan. He came through a club. He didn't go to university. Normally they'll be at a club up until a certain age, and then they'll go to university and they won't necessarily go back to their club. I think he said there's a youth league actually coming in Japan. But yeah, Takai was too good, so he stayed with his club. We had a long chat with him. I hope to make a video on him, but to sum him up, progressive defender. Profile's more like Romero than say Van der Ven if you want to compare. If you see some clips of him, those Romero balls that just split a team in half. He does that quite a bit. He's relatively two-footed, not like he's gonna play some worldy passes with his left, but when you put a right footer on the left centre back and they use their right too much, it's just not that ideal for the fullback. He will use his left foot. He's played a bit of right back, but Rio was a little bit surprised that he's played right back for the Japan national team. I think he said it was. But a really, really highly rated player. He thought it's surprised he's jumping to the Premier League straight away.
Often they go through like the Bundesliga as the path,
I feel like it's the whole Spurs fans. They want us to be like Brighton, be like Brentford, and make those signings. Then when we do, they're like, no, why are we signing these children? It's like, we're signing the players you want. I think he'd benefit from a loan. However, the J-League's stronger than the Swedish league where we got Bergvall, technically, according to FIFA.
No, I'd agree with that. I would agree with that.
It's really technical. It's got some great talent in. I always think when we play pre-season in like South Korea, and that the players look technically good. Obviously, they're always halfway through their season, but probably the culture. I imagine we want to keep him around for the cultural adaptation, because that's where it's harder, right? Buying a young kid from Europe,
yeah, easy to settle,
way easier. But yeah, I think he's exciting. Okay. I just, given how Vuskovic is rated as well, just wonder where it all fits.
Yeah, I was going to say Vuskovic. Obviously, we'll come to him when we talk about Reading, but he looks an absolute talent. Like, this guy's not going to play much. He's already got a knock standard.
Is that why he didn't play?
Yeah, apparently got a knock in training. Welcome to the Premier League.
Well, he also only started training as well, like 2 days before the match because of work permit and things. So he's come in and someone's clattered him.
It's one to keep an eye on. But a really good signing a couple of weeks ago, Mohammed Kudus, 55 million, and a lot of bald piss from West Ham fans. It's a really good signing. Some people will say, I wouldn't say cheap option, but why are you buying from West Ham? He's had a terrible season. I think he had a terrible season because West Ham had a terrible season. When Antonio got injured, he played a lot down the middle. We've missed players. He's not get you off your seat. Like a Ginola. I'm not saying he's David Ginola. Aaron Lennon. Again, he might not be Aaron Lennon, but even on Saturday against Reading, that skill on the wing, I actually think the ball went out of play. But he went round a couple of players and booted it out of the wing and chased it and got there. You just want players when they get on the ball, we go, right, something's going to happen now. And I think we've missed that.
Yeah, you can hear the old seats of White Hart Lane clanging as people stand up when he gets the ball in the way that Lennon and Ginola had. And yeah, I think we've really lacked, Sonny is a fantastic player, but the way in which he plays isn't the kind of guy that, like his goal against Burnley a few years ago where he would run at people. We've lacked quality runners, and I know football's very technical, it's passing at the back and control possession, but fans want to go and watch people run fast and kick the ball hard. Yeah, run in a straight line and kick the ball hard, as sort of proper football man as that may be. And having a player like that, and we make him onto Gibbs-White in the way he plays from midfield as well, I think he's the kind of player that you can very, very easily get behind, and so I'm looking forward to seeing him play some proper games.
100%.
I think you undersold that moment a bit where he goes down the line, because he was there like three players around him. He was he kept the ball really, really well. Surprising strength that I didn't really know he had.
Strong.
And little 1-2. I wasn't sure it went out of play. It was on the line, but it has to go all the way over. Don't have goal line tech on the touchline. I think, he's really excited. I was in the chat. We had a little argument, me and Jake, because I was like, I like him. I just don't know if he's worth that money. But that's because I thought he'd be the one big signing of the summer. We only tend to make 160 mil, and I'm like, I don't think Kudus is that guy if we're just going to make the one. And I think we keep overpaying for these Premier League players.
But there is a Premier League tax.
There is, of course. I think we're afraid to shop in Europe is my concern. But now I know he's not the only 60 mil player. I'm kind of buzzing.
Him or someone in the comments?
David Clark. Saying Son's form in the last 18 months.
We struggled to get Spurs lady. Say, we're going to come to Son. All right, answer back. Who was? Oh, Jake. You were answering with Jake.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, talk to me about Kudus.
I think he's absolutely brilliant. He's going to frustrate. He's that kind of player.
Absolutely.
I know last season was a bit of a write-off, but he's that kind of. He'll go through purple patches and he'll score screamers, but then he'll be that kind of guy that starts shooting from everywhere, and that typical sort of. Wingers are like that, though, aren't they? Unless you're the absolute elite, wingers are frustrating. They've got someone like Kudus has got a ridiculous skill set. All you need to do is see some of the goals he scored. That goal he scored against Freiburg, I don't know if everyone's seen that.
He ran
from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's obviously got loads and loads about him, and when his confidence is high, he'll be really good for us. But I'm sure he'll frustrate. But I think great signing. As Ad was saying, that's the exact kind of player that. Me, especially as a fan, wants to see.
100%.
We've needed someone like him for a long
you can
time.
see it second half, attacking the south stand, a bit like what Bale used to do at times, cutting in and shooting and, beating the man. And he's obviously got loads and loads and loads of quality. And I think that maybe bar Liverpool and Arsenal, if you're playing him on the right, I think he'd pretty much start for most teams in the league.
You think?
Yeah. Don't see United, City and Chelsea having a better right winger.
So even in the Reading game though, he created the chances.
He's really
good.
Really impressive. But even then there were moments where the Donnelly chance, there was two players in the box behind him. Like, why aren't you whipping that straight over to Son.
I don't know. I thought that was a
striker.
decent ball. I think
it was a great ball.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the optimum choice. And I was like, okay, a little hint of what he's going to try and do. That Donnelly chance was harder than what could have been created, for example.
We should have had a goal because Spence should have squared it to him about 10 minutes
We
later.
need
Yes,
a
we
goal
should've.
scoring winger, like without sort of thinking back too much. Since Kane left, we've lost so many goals.
Well, our top scorer was a winger.
No, I know, but
By
like
accident.
Son's not gonna score the amount of goals he used to.
Yeah.
Solanke's not gonna get 20, 30 goals. I hope he does,
Yeah.
but he's probably not. And we need, Johnson and him and Maddison
To
and
chip in.
Gibbs-White if we were
100%.
to sign him, and Kulu, which we did to an extent last season. Kulu sort of got 10, Maddison got 10, Johnson got whatever, Solanke, Son still. We need that. If you don't have a top striker.
Most players I think we had like the most players in double figures in
Yeah.
Europe or something.
We
up
need
there.
that from him. You want, Kudus 10, 15
I'm going to
goals.
give you some stats on Mohammed Kudus because it might be summer, but I'm still working. This is from, I think, Ali Tweeder, a friend of the show, who is going to come back on at some point. He said, we had a chat, from his article on Mohammed Kudus. Only Jeremy Doku completed more dribbles, 107, in the Premier League last season than Kudus, who was 92. On a per 90 basis, only Doku had a better completed dribbles of any player in the Premier League last season who played 1,000 minutes. It's also noteworthy that Doku was playing for a team who saw a hell of a lot more of the ball and did a hell of a lot more attacking than Kudus' West Ham. Doku averaged 71.9 touches per 90, Kudus just 52.2, which shows every time, really,
He goes at his man.
gets the ball, he's trying to do something. Kudus looks to beat a man remarkably often. He admits that he can't help but try and take the ball into space as soon as he gets it, telling The Athletic, when I see space with the ball at my feet, I don't care what's in front of me, I have to go for it. There are a couple of other stats. Again, attempted more dribbles than any other player in the Premier League. His dribble attempts made up 12.9% of his on-ball actions. His dribble success rate of 47.2% was on the higher side of the most active dribblers in the league. As an aside, so our best dribbler last season, or our most dribbly person, was Dejan Kulusevski. And he had the worst dribble success of the lot. So...
I think I saw a stat as well that we attempted some of the most dribbles as a team and had the worst success rate.
Yeah.
I can't remember a Spurs player beating a man last season.
No, this is it.
Genuinely in a
But
game.
when was the last player who did? On the wing.
Moura, probably.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it as
Son
much as he
against that
should have.
Elfsborg right back.
Was Bergvall our best dribbler last season?
Yeah.
Against Casemiro, that was it.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I was thinking, obviously we all have our issues with the style of play we played last year that was very, that was a big problem we had. But if you look at the 11 that we lined up with the majority of games, there's no one that if you're the opposing manager, you're going to think you might need to double up on him. Like everyone we played, if it's Johnson, Solanke, Son, Maddison, for example, good players, but there's no one that you're necessarily saying to a player, you need to help your mate out against him. And Kudus is the kind of player that you've only got to beat a man once or twice for the entire shift in coverage to go across, and you've got a double, and then that makes more space here. We didn't have anyone last year that would open up space for others just by being there, and that's why I'm quite optimistic about this signing.
We've been crying out for this profile for
100%.
all of Ange's tenure. And
It's interesting you say that, James. When I watch Kudus, I don't watch him that often, but when West Ham are on and he does something, I sit there. There's a number of players, and he springs to mind straight where I've gone, why didn't we sign him? Why did he go to West Ham?
That game last season, he actually got sent off because he lost his head, didn't he? He was so good in that first half
excellent.
an hour. He was so good. He should have actually scored a few more, but he was really, really good.
I can't think of others. Gibbs-White may be one of them as well, actually. But I'm looking at some players in the Premier League going, why has he gone there? Where were we? Adam Wharton. We've gone and watched, what's his name? Phillips at Blackburn. Whoever went to watch Phillips, did they not see...
Apparently they did, but...
no, we definitely were interested in Wharton. It was
Who
linked
missed
when he
him?
was there. And it felt weird that we didn't go for him. It was such a Tottenham transfer. Oh, a high-quality young English midfielder from the Championship. Dele Alli, Tom Huddleston.
Dave Clark's been back on. Sorry, James.
Right.
He was a winger for 20 of the 26 seasons he played. You have to take the errors because the nature of all wingers is to try different things to beat their defender. Yeah. Look, Son got
And that's
shoved.
Clarkey saying it. So.
And if Clarkey's saying it, Son got shoved out on the wing last year. Son's not a touchline winger. Like I said, he beat that Elfsborg winger, but he was
It was
horrendous.
a forward out of position, though, wasn't it, or something
Was it?
ridiculous?
Whatever it was bloody awful. We need a touchline winger, but he can also play. He showed a couple of moments in the 10 in the second half. He did that right at the end, or near the end. He did that flick in mid-air to, I don't know who it was, and he held the ball up and won a free kick when the guy wouldn't let go of him. He's a really, really strong lad, and I just think it's a
He's
really
just
good
quality.
signing.
Like,
it's just
we
quality.
don't have enough.
Good player.
Obviously, you know, I know there was loads wrong with last season, and you know, if we had a better manager, it would have been better. But we don't have enough quality footballers. We just don't. If you look at, like, you know, Richarlison, even Son nowadays, Johnson, they're not quality footballers anymore. Son's not a quality footballer. The way Kudus is, you know, you watch Kudus for 5 minutes, he's the kind of guy that you go, wow, like when he gets going, he's going to be
Something.
you know, really good.
Thing,
yeah,
right?
technically, I meant
Technically.
not as in, you know, I meant technically.
Yeah.
One thing I liked about Kudus as well is if you watch a load of clips of it, it's not just wide dribbling. He will
central.
dribble through midfield,
Yeah,
and there's
yeah,
been
yeah.
but deep.
He can play on the left
He can
as
play
well.
right, left, 10 striker.
Yeah.
But when you watch clips of him, you'll see him. I think he did it a lot for West Ham last year. He'll dribble from deep midfield to be that progressive player through a carry. That if you're stuck, just give it to him. He's one of those players you're like, don't use him as a crutch.
And also,
Yeah. Don't
Other
expect
peop-
him to do it up there. 100%.
And also don't shirk. Like other players, don't shirk your own skill just because you know you can give it to Kudus and run. A bit like Moussa Dembele, I'll just give it to Moussa.
and also, he plays for an African team who didn't qualify for AFCON,
That's
which
massive.
is really
Yeah,
helpful.
massive.
Sad for him,
Because
happy for us.
Yeah.
this season, it's like it's in December as well, isn't it? So it used to be in January, whereas now I think it starts like before Christmas. So
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. So there's like an extra. I think it's like 5 weeks potentially.
Well, they're going to miss like all those like Boxing Day, New Year
yeah,
fixtures.
yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
if-
pretty sure that there's
Googling
there's
it.
games on the 21st. Second, there might even be a game on.
We're going to lose
Christmas
Saar for
Day.
a while then.
Yeah,
I
but we
guess.
can manage about.
We
that,
can manage.
that's
That's a
fine.
shame.
Yeah, you're right, Jake.
When does it start?
21st of December, 2025.
So if you so
That's just not on.
so
is
if
it?
you lose someone for a month, technically, you know, he plays for Ghana. Ghana, at their best, could have got to a final. You're talking probably 5 Premier League games, an FA Cup third round game, and a League Cup if we were in it semi-final.
which we will be, because we're
Obviously.
drowning in trophies.
That's
now.
a lot of games.
Positively
though.
drowning in.
It's the worst time to, you know.
Yeah, that's awful.
So it's a big bonus.
No doubt Arsenal will play all the teams who've got no players left.
Well, they obviously play Liverpool.
Obviously
in that
play
period,
Liverpool.
of course.
All right. Well, coming on to pick up on something you said, like signing quality. We nearly signed Morgan Gibbs-White 24 hours later. We would like Morgan Gibbs-White. It's obviously that's the kind of profile we're going for. But for me, it's kind of like a little bit surprising because he's a Lucas Bergvall, and we've got Lucas Bergvall, and I know Bergvall's only 18, very raw, very young. But okay, you need great to have 2 players for every position or top players for every position.
He's more Madison. He's more 10.
I mean, I
But
think
I'm
he's a
cu-
proper 8.
I think
he's
that's
a
where
number
he'll-
8, yeah.
I think he's 8.
He plays 10 at Forest all the time. Like, that's his position. Behind the striker, 4-2-3-1. That's where he plays. But I wanted to talk about it because we've been linked with Palhinha.
Well, they're different.
No, very different. That's my point. So the Wharton link, progressive defensive mid, passing, great, which we think we need. I've been wondering if the Gibbs-White, as you say, 8, he wouldn't be a 10 and he can rotate with Madison, but he plays 8 and kind of his passing range is amazing. Just he can ping it left,
Do you
right,
think we
and
play?
centre.
You think we play him deeper?
So maybe he does play it, and we have Palhinha who can just go tackle people and hurt people all the time.
All right, but I don't want to necessarily. I don't like talking about rumours. The Palhinha thing's a rumour, but in terms of profile, if we don't sign Gibbs-White, what do we think we need? What do we think what's left? We've gone and signed a really good winger. We're obviously looking for some sort of central midfielder, whether it's a 6, whether it's an 8. What do you think we still need with the season starting in 4 weeks and the window, or less? Is it 3 weeks and the window shutting in 6?
I'm less worried about this sort of holy unicorn 6 that everyone talks about, because I just don't think we're going to play a formation that's going to require a god of the position like what we would have needed under Ange, where you just got one guy sat on an island there, and so you need to not only get the ball but give the ball to someone, get it back every time, stop every counter-attack on the left and right and the middle at all times.
Do you also trust that Frank might coach Bissouma or Bentancur to
Well, I
be
mean,
better?
when we played a normal formation in Europe, we never got beaten through the middle because we had 2 guys sitting there. So I'm less
Two
concerned.
guy, what the old Blackburn player?
Top player. Paul Robinson's still diving, I think.
Screamer though.
There was a screamer.
Yeah, when there's 2 players there, it just lessened the burden quite significantly. So I think we do have enough players that could. Look, I would love a player like a Wharton. I would definitely like a player like Palhinha because it does give you the option. But I don't think, whereas last season we were looking at the team saying, what are we going to do without the
It's
midfield
funny
there?
what you say though. Everyone's like, yeah, get a defensive midfielder and we'll never concede a goal again. We'll never concede. They're literally going to cover the entire pitch. You can just let Maddison, anyone else, Gibbs-White, just and he will just
stop.
Yeah, just inspect the gadget legs, both left and right at all times. But I'd like a left-sided defender.
Yeah.
Because I think Spence will play prominently down the right as he should
need
for this year.
We need 4 proper fullbacks. Not Ben Davies will come in if Adobe gets injured.
Definitely not. And I think I would like another forward-minded player because I don't trust that Richarlison can carry the load. He's already injured.
No,
something's weird.
Something's up. Do you think we'll sell Richarlison?
I unfortunately have Richarlison on my sort of sell at all costs list because I love the guy, and when he plays, his record is unbelievable. But he knackered the season for us last year with that Liverpool injury because that meant that Tell had to play up front, which basically ruined him for 6 weeks. And if you're not available as a backup, that is the most annoying. The most annoying
got
injury
injured earlier in the season.
Against Aston Villa,
when we needed him for that mad run where we had loads of Europa League game, League Cup games, Premier, and he just missed it all.
And we can't even blame his injuries on Ange's system.
He was injured before.
He's an exception, isn't he? If you could guarantee 38 games of fitness, then I would keep him 100% because what an asset he can be. I think you did his sort of goals per 90 is amazing. But if you're not playing,
it's inevitable, isn't it?
Yeah, we're just waiting for the injury, and I can't be asked.
Availability is the best ability.
100%.
And this season as well, considering last season was slightly different, but this season we're going to have 8 Champions League games, and that's not you're not making 7-8 changes for Champions League.
Well,
games.
you're not playing Lancashire up front.
Yeah, that's what I mean. No. You can't get away with it. You need.
It feels like
squad
that's
players
quite
available.
far away. Signing back up for Solanke seems very far away.
But I don't know where are we with this because, it feels like we want do we want like a Richarlison, someone that can play in multiple positions? I don't see us getting. I know we've been linked. But I don't see us getting a Whistler.
Well, how many centre forwards has Frank had? How many he's had Tony?
We've not had 2 out-and-out number 9s on our books.
Actual centre forward in the Premier League.
Tony. Visser was a left winger at first.
Yeah, he's played with wingers.
When did we last have 2 out-and-out number 9s on our books?
Kane Llorente.
Or Janssen. we don't really do it.
I don't know. You can barely call him a footballer.
We've had sort of Son there. Mora played up front a bit.
I still think Richarlison's a 9. I know he played.
No, I know,
okay
but I'm saying
I
get that. But
yeah,
he's a 9.
I don't know what the club are going to be. What do they want here?
Richarlison was pretty imperative for us on the left towards the end of the season. People forget he was a left-sided player for a while, and he's got ability
his
out
best
there.
form at Everton was out wide with Calvert-Lewin.
Or when Calvert-Lewin was injured, then he'd go up front and score a load of goals. His record was always better than Calvert-Lewin's, mind, funnily enough, and I think that once upon a time people shouted.
The thing that I worry about Richarlison is, and I agree, I would cash him, but I don't see. I know there's been links with Turkey, maybe Saudi. I don't see
big links to Palmeiras.
I don't see how someone like
Palmeiras, because they've just made a load of money from. Is it selling players to Chelsea?
And they're in the Club World Cup.
I just don't see Richarlison at whatever he is, 28, is he?
Something like that.
I don't see him wanting to go play in Brazil.
But
it's a World Cup year and he's Brazil's number 9.
He wants to
play. Can't play in Brazil.
But that might be the best place for him to play.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, maybe it's different. I don't know if they look at it differently. But I thought somewhere like I know he was linked with Everton. Somewhere like maybe a Fulham linking up with Marco Silva. 30 million would be a good deal for everyone. 30 million will be fine. I know the club want more like 50.
There's a problem with Richarlison and I think Basuma as well, where they're getting to the point where they know we're their ceiling and they don't want to leave. And that's fair. And there's good players in both of them. I think Richarlison's a better player than Basuma. I know different players, but Basuma's just too inconsistent. And apparently he's been trying really hard in training with the new manager and he wants to prove himself. But
how nice of him.
He's a bit of a sell as well for different reasons. Inconsistency.
Well,
and Richarlison
Basuma has to go this summer because of his contract. So
it's just the problem when you constantly rotate new managers is that everybody gets a second chance or gets a chance. So Frank's going to go, well, Basuma's still a top Premier League player. I'm going to give him that chance.
Well, Basuma's different from a business point of view that he's on a free next year.
Yeah, we're not going to offer him a new deal.
If he's not going to sign a new deal, then
I don't think we're offering him one. It's
or whatever. Richarlison's different.
A new one, which has also gone dark.
But yeah, that is the problem. And there's always that one or two, aren't there, that sort of, come out of nowhere. I remember it was Davis with Conte, weren't it? Davis hardly kicked the ball We didn't kick a ball under Nuno. Did he even play under Nuno for those first 15 games? Then Conte came in and he hardly missed a game.
Yeah.
There's always sort of one of them. I'm not saying it will definitely happen with Frank, but
Would you get rid of Bissouma?
I don't.
Because he was one that at the end of the season we're like, well, he's going to go.
He always tempts me, Bissouma. And there's one thing about him that I was thinking. He played very, very well against Brentford twice. I think both times at their place. In Angie's first game, he was unbelievable.
Yeah,
great. And in that 2-0 game in January, from memory, he had a very, very good game as just sort of a blocking, holding midfielder. And so, you know, Frank strikes me as the kind of guy that might resonate, you know, with his stats guys. I remember Frank reeled off that team after they won. After we won, because obviously we thought we were decimated by injuries. And I remember Frank in his press conference post-game reeled off the entire 11 saying, well, look at these players they had. Like, Spurs got great players. And he name-checked every single player. And I remember Bissouma was very, very good that game. I don't know if that might leave a seed in Frank's mind that I can make something out of this guy. I don't know. But then he name-checked Bentancur in his first press conference. So who knows?
Do we think that we probably need a new forward, but we might not get one? You think you're happy with centre mids, but left back?
Happy on the proviso that other players are signed.
Yes,
yeah. Of course. Yeah. I think we're going to sign a central player. For me, left back is still very, very.
We have to sign a proper left back.
We're not even linked with one.
Dennis Sirkin.
Do you think Van der Ven's going to play left back?
I think he will at some point.
Do you?
I just think you need 4 fullbacks.
I think if
for
we don't
this Champions
get a left
League
back,
format.
Van der Ven does not have the fitness capabilities to be our backup left back and our first choice left centre back.
We don't really want Ben Davies
he'll play left back. No,
in Champions League games.
No.
Ben, I think we'll keep Ben around because he had like Ben Mee similarly at Brentford.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's
But
going
I
through his
Ben
badges. And
And like he can be our manager in 3, 4, 5 years. Go for it.
He just
Ben.
likes anyone called Ben.
we've got to sign it. We've got to sign a left back. I don't like this flip flopping of Spence. Can you play 1 week right back? Can you play 1 week?
No, that's fine though. That is fine.
I'm not sure.
No, I'm not against that, but we still need
another fullback.
Yeah, of some sort.
It's
Whether it's another,
back.
One that can play on both sides, fine. But we need 4. Have to have 4.
Luke THFC in the comments says apparently Frank tried saying Lancashire. You think we'll see him more on the 9? No. Went to Brest Brom, didn't score a goal. No, thanks.
He's going out on loan.
Yeah, going out on loan. Adam Flanagan, this is a good question. It might come down to what you said, Jake Saunders, about like with players at their ceiling. Why have we been so bad at selling players?
Yeah.
Is it down to wanting too much of players? The wages we pay are higher than European teams can pay. Why are we so bad at selling players?
I call our training ground Hot Spa Way because if you look at when they're going in, it looks like the most magnificent place. And on a human level, what a great life these guys have. Like, where they get to go to work every day is unbelievable. And if someone's trying to sign you that, I don't know, maybe...
You make shawarma for a living. That's a great place to work.
That is true, yeah. My kitchen's slightly hotter than some of the saunas at Hot Spa Way this summer, unfortunately. I don't know, I just wonder if like the work-life balance of being a Tottenham player is probably absolutely phenomenal with this training ground. And it's probably quite hard to convince a player to leave where they are, even if the conditions for a transfer might be met.
We also allow players, we've done this for years, we also allow players to get to a certain level when Lamella's always the example with me. I'm sure there's plenty of Lamella. I never liked him one bit, but we let him stay so much longer than we should have. We should have sold him in 2018, 2019.
2013.
Whatever, yeah. and we sold him in what, 2021?
Slander.
It's a bit like that with Richarlison. We could have sold, maybe we didn't get an offer, but we should have sold Richarlison a year ago, as much as I like him. Bissouma is probably a bit different, but we've had that, I can't think of any more off the top of my head, but so many times over the years, we end up getting crap fees for players. And then, Lo Celso, how did he stick around for so long? And Dombele.
You look at Chelsea sell players for 20 million that they never kicked a ball. City sold a defender, I think.
It's
for
Liverpool for me. Liverpool
never
loan
played.
out a guy and all of a sudden they're worth 25 million and then all of a sudden they're in League 2. I don't understand how they do it. I just think every CEO is a blooming Liverpool fan. I think for me, there's a question. I love Kulusevski, love him, and would keep him. But do you remember when we had Poch and we could have sold Dyer for 50 mil? And we did sell Walker. Danny Rose had an offer from United as well. Probably should have sold Danny Rose. Probably should have sold Dyer. Probably would have kept Walker.
I think those players are a bit different because they were at their peak.
They
at
were,
that
but
time.
this is what I mean. I'd say Kulusevski is... I think we've either seen the best or he's on his way to his best. But you look at him, the rumoured Gibbs-White signing... If we want to be that club, every big club sells players. All of them do.
You have to recycle.
And he's one that I could maybe see in a year.
I said a year ago,
60 million.
I said
agree with
last
you.
summer, if we got a good offer, I would sell Kudus. As much as I rate him, his quality, I just don't think he's going to get better. I don't think he will take us to the next level.
I agree.
I think
don't,
the
and
Poch era made us too sentimental.
I know a lot. I know, and I'm a massive Kulu fan, and I know there were times last season when he was carrying us, but he's not a killer. He doesn't score enough goals, and he's not good enough. He's not good enough in the final third. He's not.
Oh, God, I really disagree with
He's
all
not.
of this.
I-
It's
I-
fine.
I disagree from a
And I
perspective
really rate
of on the
him,
ball,
but he's just
I
not-
agree with like his finishing, scoring goals. He doesn't do enough there, and he definitely has the ability. It's
He
always
got about
annoyed me.
11 goals before January this year, no? He scored quite a lot of goals last season.
Yeah, I mean that's his best. So one is not really a
but
rule against the mean.
It's only fair to
Yeah.
try and take players.
You're only as good as your last game.
Again,
Yeah, exactly.
I'd
Well, his
love-
last game was
Again, I love
Bodo
Kudus.
away, and he was an
Last
absolute
three
cart horse,
seasons,
wasn't he?
last 3 seasons, 17 league goals in 100 games. That's not great.
I'd love. Hey, I'm
I like
fine.
him.
I'm
He's brilliant.
fine with keeping Kulusevski. But my point is we've become the Poch era made us really sentimental to players. And if I look at our assets, we're not going to sell Maddison, and we're not going to get a profit on him. for
Well, I'd sell
example.
Maddison
No.
much quicker than I'd sell Kulusevski.
But Maddison is 28. He's probably the most technical player in the 11.
Yeah. But why are we selling
Wildly
Kulusevski?
important.
What are we doing it for? Is it just to make money to
Upgrade-
sign another
upgrading.
player?
If we're going to have player
Upgrading?
turnover, upgrade,
But then
Morgan
upgrade
Gibbs-White,
on a worse player
where's
than
he-
Maddison, then surely.
Like, I'd sell Brennan ideally before Kulusevski, but we're not going to sell Brennan Johnson, and we're not going to get a profit on Brennan Johnson. But
But then you
definitely
look
if
at Brennan Johnson's numbers and they're better than Kulusevski's.
Yeah. And then Kulusevski, though, if I look at all the players that I'd want to keep and who's the most sellable, and with the rumours we've got, who we might be signing, and I look in a year's time and I go, one of those players hasn't had the minutes they want, one of those players might want to leave, I just think it's Decky.
I agree with Jake Saunders. I like the guy, but I think we've seen his ceiling.
I really like him. He's brilliant. And there were times last
Game of
season.
opinions, ads.
So this-
Game of
And there were
opinions.
times during those first 10 games. I remember that. Don't know why this always sticks out. I remember Luton away when we had 10 men, and he was colossal in that second half.
Brilliant.
And he's so good at keeping the ball at times. But I don't know. I don't think
He was our best player, I think, for the longest period last season,
He's
to be
finishing so poor and shots getting blocked, and like for his skill set, I think his output should be so much better considering his skill set.
Luke says I'm hoping he'll shine at right wing under Frank, but this is like
Kudus
I don't know
is
where
our
he
right
goes.
winger.
You've got
Kudus is
Kudus
our right
and
winger.
Brennan is going to play.
Yeah, well,
If we
Frank likes him.
sign Gibbs-White, I don't know where Kulusevski's
That's-
minutes are coming from.
Yeah, because you've got Madison at
I
10,
bet you plays
Gibbs-White
40
at
games.
10, Gibbs-White at 8.
No, but as in like like when you go, I'm not saying he won't. I'm sure he'll get injured. When you start the season, if we start the season with a good few wins, I don't know where Kulu's. Does Kulu start in our best team right now? If we sign Gibbs-White,
I'd pick him. I'd find a place. I think he's good. Maybe,
So, okay,
maybe,
is he-
maybe
is he
I've
gonna-
just
Is he going at 10 over Madison?
forget. Is he this? Is he that? Is he better? Yes, he's a much better player than Maddison. Much better player.
Interesting.
And I think we've just completely forgotten how brilliant he was in the first half of the season when people were talking about him as like just our best player that generate. People were going mad about him.
I was one of them.
I'm not trying, like, whatever. Players are players. They come and go. I'm not falling in love with footballers anymore. But I think people have just completely forgotten how brilliant Kulusevski was.
we discussed those. We discussed at the end of last season our favourite performance of the season, and like I think it was you that said
Against
Kulu
Man City, for
and,
sure.
and United, like probably two of the best individual performances of the season. But I think he should be better. I think he should be better with that skill set because he's so talented. As I say, in that first half of the season, he was our best player by a mile. And I know he sort of got injured, and the last 2 months were a bit of a write-off. He didn't really play much, did he?
Well, we've got a proper coach, and let's hope that
Yeah.
helps. I want to talk about Frank briefly. I watched the interview with Ben Haynes walking around the training ground, Hot Spa Way, with Langer and with Thomas Frank. And I've said a lot on this pod. I've used the phrase.
Can you read that last comment?
Go on, James. What's tickled you?
We paid 50 million for a BJ. Even Trump and Musk wouldn't pay 50 million for a BJ.
Yes, thank you, Milton Nebrega. Welcome.
That tickled me.
I watched that interview, and I've talked last season about signing adults, signing experienced players. When I watched Thomas Frank, with all respect to Ange, he won us this trophy, blah, blah, blah. I just feel like in terms of Premier League, managing elite football clubs, Frank is the adult in the room here compared to Ange, who's just, I don't want to downgrade the guy, but came in like in his ill-fitting suit and his cough and his Australian guy. I know it's going to piss people off, but you know what I mean. Frank just feels organised and like a proper Premier League adult manager. And I'm not saying we're going to suddenly rise to 6th in the league. It might take a few seasons. I feel a lot more comfortable with Thomas Frank in charge. I'll say before we've even kicked the ball, I know we played Reading and we will talk about it. Just feels like this is better for me to feel safe with Thomas Frank in charge.
Feels a bit more secure, don't it?
It just feels more secure. I don't know what other people's thinking. He's brought his coaching staff with him. Justin Cochrane, Chris Haslam, got this guy Andrews Georgeson, Joe Newton, the analyst. Matt Wells is staying on.
The cough versus the drink.
The cough versus the drink. A very good guy.
It does feel like he's brought a coaching staff with him as opposed to like Ange and a bunch of lads, which it felt like last year.
We finally got a manager who doesn't look like... We've got a manager who doesn't look like he's about to have a heart attack. Conte looked like he was about to have one. Ange looked like he was about to have one. Like,
it seems a lot more sort of relaxed and not as with Frank.
And all this...
Ange just ignored the fire in his living room.
It seems like Frank's turned up and just...
And all his coaches.
Yeah, Frank
just gives off, we're in good hands now. You can relax a bit.
We're in good hands. We won't know. We won't know until for a while.
I hope we're already bored.
He's bored already.
How you George?
Of the pod or of Frank?
Nah, George Pena loves the pod. You can't be bored of Thomas Frank until we've lost home to Burnley on the first game of the season. We talked about Ange at the end of the season. You still going to bed thinking about him? Like, I'm sure people are, but how are you feeling about the new era, the new dawn?
It was the right thing to do, all things told. And I have my brief flirtation with the idea of maybe letting season 3 play out, but when you took a fortnight, and actually I think Spurs they got battered for doing it, but I don't think it was the wrong move to take a bit of time, let things settle down, and then make their decisions as opposed
Take the
to
emotion out of it.
Yeah. I think the way in which they did it, unlike Spurs, was actually pretty much spot on for the way in which those decisions had to be made.
Yeah.
Having Frank lined up very quickly after Andrew was going to go, I think the transition was done very well. But every manager's a risk, and you never know what you're going to get. In theory, the fundamentals should suggest that this is going to work out well, but how many times have we spoken about clubs where you look at it and think, well, that's going to go well, and it just, for whatever reason, doesn't. So I'm as hopeful as I can be without a ball properly being kicked, I think.
Jake?
Yeah, I'm happy, look, we've not seen anything yet, and results talk for themselves, but Frank seems a safe pair of hands. I don't know whether that's a bit of a small-time thing to say, but apart from mentioning Arsenal in his press conference...
And using red on his tactics board.
That was funny, that comment.
It's on our bloody white kit. What
was the comment? We're gonna lose games.
Yeah, we are.
It's true.
No, I like him. Sometimes I find him a bit strange, but in press conferences. But I like him. He's safe, and he knows the league. We've needed someone like that for a while.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? I know Conte and Mourinho did and stuff, and Nuno did, but he knows the league, and we don't need this whole, he needs to get used to it, and he's got this, you know what to expect from him, and we didn't know what to expect.
Last one on transfers. I think you tweeted last night, Adam, or last couple of days, about Levy's comments about we want to win the Premier League, we want to win the Champions League.
Have we spoken about that press conference since it happened?
I don't think we have.
No, or the video, whatever it was.
Well,
that comment in particular, I'm amazed that he put that on public record from a club channel. Like, you can do an interview or be in a Q&A and you can say something and you can't take it back because someone's filming it on a phone. He could have very easily...
You mean like the CEO of a company at Coldplay being with his wife?
Yeah, but he could very easily have gone back and said, do you know what, producer, I probably have gone a bit big on that. Let's just take that line. They've kept it in.
They're making a point.
And it's clippable on a club channel. I just don't understand why they've done that unless they actually intend to act like they speak. Because if not, then that is the smoking gun of why you can say these guys need to leave, because they're talking one way and they can't back it up.
But it's saying, not even saying we need to win trophies, actually referencing the Premier League and Champions League is like...
It's one thing actually going on and winning them, but it's one thing giving the tools to do so. I'm not saying Gibbs-White was the answer, but signing a player one day, signing another the next. That's how big clubs act.
Yeah.
But are you saying that the next 6 weeks...
Because you can't come out and say that and not severely.
They have to spend another 100 million quid minimum.
This
minimum.
Yeah, 100%.
Or what are you talking about, and why are you saying it?
Yeah.
Because you had those couple of days of you thought it was back-to-back signings, we thought there was investment, we thought there were naming rights, and we thought there were sponsorships. And whilst I am more optimistic about a lot of that stuff happening than in the past, I don't blame fans for saying, and it's already started saying, here we go again, they promised all this, they said that was going to happen, they won't even sign another player for 60 million quid, it was just all a smokescreen. Unfortunately, empirical evidence has made it that is how some fans think. And unless, the only way it's going to change is for them to change.
And I've said it already twice in this episode. It felt like it had changed in 48 hours with Kudus and Gibbs-White, and then Tottenham Hotspur being Tottenham Hotspur. Something's happened. I don't want to speculate about why or what has happened. All right. Do you think Morgan Gibbs-White will be a Tottenham player ever?
Yeah,
You
this
do.
summer,
You
I
do.
think.
Jake?
I just got to say no, just 'cause I'm just a pessimist.
I'm
I want
looking
him desperately, but I
at
just
some thread of. Ultimately, it's like the dregs of rumours, the pure ITK dregs.
This is where
but
we
there's
live.
a lot of Forest don't want to sell him to us and are trying to get him to Man City.
Do you know what? It's
Here-
happened.
here
It's
we
happened
go.
at.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
happened at the
It
most.
feels like the murmurings.
It's
before
happened
it
at the most
happens.
annoying, worst time. Because if it was a month ago, it wouldn't have been as bad. But the whole Forest playing, going on a pre-season tour, that Forest guy that sold everyone last week when Gibbs-White wasn't at training. If it was a month ago, none of that would have been happening. Whereas now it's like, there's this whole thing about he played on Saturday, he can't
You're
sign
not
for
playing to
Harry
Portugal today.
Harry Kane capped in Tottenham on the Sunday and left on the Friday, right?
Is that a Craig David song?
Bow went on a pre-season tour and then we sold him a few weeks later.
Bale was on Times Square, big in a new
Yeah, that's
shirt.
what I mean. And there was another
2
one
weeks
as well. Was it
before he left.
Modric potentially, or I don't know, I can't remember. But that Gibbs-White going on this
We
trip
signed
means
Solanke off of
nothing.
his pre-season tour.
It means zero.
yeah, it doesn't mean.
Do you know what I mean? We're 6 weeks out from the window closing. It's not very helpful though, is it?
My theory, backing what you've seen on these ITKs, is that they'll do anything now to sell to us. I think they've got really pissed off by us. Anyway, let's move on. James, you went to Reading.
I did.
You went. Our last pre-season I think I went to was Leyton Orient away in about 1999. And I got hit by the ball. I was straight shot by one of our subs, and I don't know who it was. He was having a shot. Coach teed him up, and he hit his shot completely wild, and he just smacked me and threw my chips everywhere. How was it? Tell us. We had a chat in our WhatsApp last night about going. For me, it's the first game. There will be obvious observations. I know people have gone mad on videos and given us 3-hour breakdowns on what happened.
Kinski's a third centre-half was one I read
Kinski's a
yesterday.
third centre-half. Vuskovic is our new number 6.
Even you said Vuskovic was good on Twitter.
I think he
That's
looks
when
like
you
a
know
real
he's good.
But Vuskovic, you can see he's a real player. He's gone and played 50 games in Belgium this season. He looks like a really good
By the
footballer.
way, is he 17?
18.
No
now.
way.
There's no
18.
way.
No
He looks
way.
older than us.
No way
Yeah.
is he 14
Yeah.
years younger than me. I'm not having that.
He looks
I
like a
am not
real
having that.
footballer, and I don't expect to see him playing a Premier League game this season. But he looks like an absolute find.
Yeah, he does.
But people have gone out and saying he should be our starter.
Bit worried that he might be better in the opposition box than their own, to be honest.
Yeah, he
Absolute
scores so many goals. There was that stat.
worldy of a finisher he is.
Was he the most more goals than Heung-min Lamar at some point
Scored
last season?
like
Wherever
10
it was.
goals, I think, for Vesta.
Yeah,
Something's ridiculous.
How was it? What did you see?
Yeah, no,
Talk to us.
it was my first pre-season game I've been to,
Yeah.
and
Ever?
yeah,
Really?
I've watched a lot, but I've not
Oh,
been.
no.
They
Absolutely
are-
I've
shouldn't be
only
going
been to one, I think.
I think I went to one. Ever.
It's rough.
Berbatov's first
I-
game at Stevenage.
Okay.
I wrote a fraud watch list of players just because I was exaggerating. They're just rusty. It didn't mean anything. I think you can't take much from player performances at pre-season
can't.
games.
No, 100%.
Like Solanke was atrocious. Bergvall was the worst player on the
really
pitch.
poor, yeah.
Van der Ven was
Just rustiness.
abysmal.
Yeah.
As well. Brennan was Brennaning.
Yeah.
Couldn't trap a ball to save his life.
Yeah.
Mid-season
And
form.
Sons broke his back or something. I don't know. But I think there were serious structural changes that led me to, in the pub afterwards, when my friend said Andrew's all right, to me have an absolute rant of like, did you not see some things today where I compared the two? And I was like, Ange was so naive. We built with 2 at the back. There was no 2 leaving the centre backs isolated. There was always 3.
Good.
Always
the bar
3.
is so low if we're praising not leaving 2.
Oh my God.
It was so good. We didn't leave ourselves completely exposed for the whole game.
So it was, but there was a lot of different forms of it. I actually liked how we played in the first half, despite not being able to create anything. I thought possession. I really liked Bentancur would drop into the middle of the centre halves to dictate
Eric Dyer
play
under Poch
sometimes,
style, yeah.
which was really nice. But it wasn't all the time. Sometimes you'd have a 3 of Porro deep with Romero and then Van der Ven and Udogie. Not Van der Ven, it was Danso. Udogie pushing on, kind of like. Both fullbacks never went forward together without someone covering. And more often than not, it was Udogie going forward, and then Porro could pass from deep, quite Trent-like in a way, where they'd leave Trent deep so he can dictate. And that makes sense at the moment in our squad. Our best progressive players are Romero and Porro. We don't have that option in midfield unless someone like Maddison drops really, really deep.
Yeah.
And in the second half, it was permanently almost a back 3 of Davis, Van der Ven and Vuskovic, with Spence pushing up. And then Son. That did mean Son had to start wider. Meant Kudus could come inside, kind of like shift that midfield across, which doesn't suit Son that much. But you could tell Son was not being asked to go down
Son
to the touchline.
didn't do anything.
He didn't, but he was being asked to drive to the box.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Which was a noticeable change. I loved Bentancur in a deep line kind of playmaker role, if I'm honest.
I describe
really liked
Bentancur, obviously people know that I've got an absolute love for him. It's like Berbatov in the midfield. Like, he's so...
What an amazing comparison. I completely know what you mean.
But Berbatov is stratosphere is better than Bentancur. It's that kind of
I know what
classy
you mean,
language.
that Elegant.
Elegant.
But this is what I've always wanted
Get
from
him on the ball more.
But he's never done it. And it feels like no one's ever asked him to do it. And Sarr was clearly there to be the runner,
does it for Uruguay.
the tackler. But it was like, yeah,
He
Bentancur
dictates from deep for Uruguay.
I really liked it. That kind of made me think, okay, we're going to have a deep line playmaker. And that's when I started to think, oh, okay, I could totally see Gibbs-White doing that. I could see Maddison dovetailing and dropping in and doing the same thing.
I don't like Maddison
not
deep
starting
because he
there.
thinks he's
Not-
Glenn Hoddle.
Not,
No, I don't.
not
Isn't.
starting there.
Get up there, Maddison.
Yeah.
We wanted to hit but the big thing was variety for me. We know under Ange that we had no long balls until he threw away his system to win a trophy. Thank heavens he did. But there was a lot of variety we were trying to create through short passes. We were trying to create early by putting Johnson in behind, even if he couldn't trap the ball. We were manoeuvring the opposition to get Udogie free, so Udogie could just drive up the pitch, which he did a lot. He was free so much.
I think
in the
Udogie's
first
going to
half.
have a really strong season.
I think he's
Really
maybe
good
my
season.
favourite.
There was a moment
fullback.
in the first half where Udogie and Solanke interchanged. Udogie made a great run, played a 1-2 with Solanke. I think we won a corner, and they cut to Frank. And Frank sat down and spoke to his coaches, which we haven't seen for 2 years, and sort of nodded and said something. And in my head, he was saying, "Oh my God, look at these players connecting, linking. That's how you link up with your centre forward." Solanke had players around him, whether it was Udogie, whether it was Johnson. I know he came off at half time. There was another player who linked well with in the first half. Can't remember. One of the Mikey Moore at one point. A couple of nice 1-2s. Solanke was so isolated under Postecoglou. He still came out with 20 or so goals in all competitions. We talked about upgrading. I really like Solanke. I do think if we could find a worldy striker, Solanke could be upgraded. Not going to happen. You have to get players.
He's an upgrade on Wissa, though, I think, for Frank.
Yeah, he's very different to Vista.
The thing about Solanke, which I want to see more this season, is I know he was isolated a lot, and I know I always compare any striker now that we're ever going to have to. But Kane could do. He doesn't get shots away quick enough, and I feel like that's such a big thing that Kane used to be so good at. In the box, receive the ball, one touch, shift and shoot.
Sometimes you can't teach that.
He never does that.
You've either got it or you haven't. Maybe
he did that once against United in the League Cup. That was the only time he did that, where he got into the box.
Finish, yeah.
And I remember him a chance in the. I know this is going way back, against Arsenal at the Emirates in January, and we were 2-1 down. It was late on, and he received it in the box, and he hesitated and got it out of his feet, and he got blocked. And I know, tactics, whatever, completely different, but just on a personal level, he needs to be so much better at that.
He's not a killer, is he?
Yeah, that's what
He's
I
not.
desperately want him to
That's
be.
why I like the trajectory I hope Tell takes, because his ball striking is ridiculous.
He's got a great hit
Tell
on him,
could be a
Shift it
absolute
and shoot,
killer.
and that's what
Just
Kudus will do.
bang.
Big time. Get the ball, shift it.
But for Solanke, we've got to get players around him, and that's one thing I noticed. I did watch the game. I thought the first half was whatever. It's rusty, whatever you want to say. Rusty, poor, but whatever. Some positive performances. Kudus, Vuskovic, we've mentioned. Great finish, left-footed. bottom corner like a striker's finish. That's like a Kane finish. Lovely set from Kudus.
That was an early strike, unexpected early strike as well, as you say.
Yeah.
Thought, where's he got this
He's
like
lethal.
instinct?
And you don't hear stories of him being a centre forward when he was a kid. You just see him scoring from the halfway line as a 14-year-old.
I still think, though, unless he pulls up trees in pre-season, I still think the best thing's a loan deal.
Yeah,
for
I'm
him.
sure he will. Possibly to the Championship.
They might keep
Do you
him
reckon?
around.
I bet he plays.
No.
Sticks around and plays.
I think he's
Vuskovic,
going to
100%.
stick around and play.
You reckon?
I just think he's
Trust
got.
an 18-year-old at centre half.
I don't know.
I wouldn't be against
I just
it.
think you see sometimes certain players that just look.
I don't
like
think
you
he's
can't-
ready, but I think
He'll
he'll
be
stay.
ahead of. Do you think he'll be ahead of the Japanese of Takai?
Purely from an adaptation point of view.
European
Yes.
experience.
He's played
Well.
top,
Takai is
top level. I know
older,
it's in Belgium, but he's
And Takai has
played.
kept Ronaldo quiet and kept Saudi teams quiet. Takai has. So Takai isn't.
Yeah, he's
Some-
not
There's
ready.
a huge
Takai's
difference between
arguably ahead in his
Asian
development.
football and European football.
But yes,
You also got to
there is.
keep some players around from a club train perspective, haven't you? So you might as well keep the ones that are. Because if he has 3 years, you have 3 years, right, before you're 21.
Yeah,
So
that's a good
Vuskovic
point.
would.
What,
you-
like we're doing Bergvall and Gray. They
Yeah.
will become club trained in another year after this.
and I think Saar. This is
Saar can't.
really.
No, for some it's some. I can't remember
I
why.
saw
but
that. It's
Saar
a
can't.
weird
just
thing
quick,
about Saar.
Vuskovic plays on the right, yeah,
Yeah,
and Danso plays on the right as well, and Romero.
they
so
all
we're a bit-
play
Where's
on
our
right.
left-sided-
Takai plays
where's
on
our
right.
left-sided
Takai can
centre
play
back?
left, but
You
Takai
stick
plays
the
right.
18-year-old there. That's what happens, and that's when you get.
It might
caught
be one
out.
of those, gets thrown in at the deep end, and Frank really likes what he sees and goes, you know what, let's give it a go.
Okay, maybe.
He's the kind of player that is. He's obviously going to play 6 more halves of football in pre-season.
Yeah.
And he strikes me as the kind of guy that can elevate himself from squad player to, in the 18 every week if he performs in pre-season. I think.
I think it matters less now we have Frank because defence is clearly going to actually be coached.
Do you think Romero will stay? By the way,
I do now.
do you think Romero will stay?
Yeah, we all start play 3 at the back a lot, and so that means
I've
you need
got
at least
major
5 centre
PTSD
halves.
from 3 at the back.
Don't worry. Just, as I said, like even in the Reading game, you see it at Brentford. Frank always builds with some sort of 3. So whether he's starting with a 3 at the back in a that's on the sheet,
Yeah.
and 3 centre
Or
backs,
he's got
or it's
someone
someone.
dropping in.
I thought
drifting
Romero
in.
was Atletico or bust.
Yeah,
Didn't
Yeah.
see who.
I think
don't
keep
see
an eye
many
on if
teams that are
Real
gonna pay that
Madrid
much
get
money.
rid of Rudiger because he's looking.
I don't know if Madrid want that
Gone.
want that kind of guy again.
What, Ramos?
I can see you can see Romero signing for Madrid and the fans just turning on him quickly. Gets an early red card in El Clasico, and then
Like Jonathan Woodgate,
yeah.
own goal and red card on
I
his
just don't
debut.
think. I don't know.
Samuel says we're not playing through. We will absolutely. Play
Samuel's
through
been
at some
complaining
point.
throughout the entire
Drag
show.
us in as
don't
well.
worry
Forget
about
about him.
Yeah,
He'll be
he's
tough
he's
to sell.
much better forgotten about.
Yeah,
I was
agreed.
about to say, yeah.
Again, I think
forgotten
he'll
about
be
it.
better off with Frank and so Vuskovic because Vuskovic.
We should be
struggles on
selling
return.
Dragusin
Dragson
as
can't kick the
early as
ball.
possible. He can't play football.
He can't kick the ball, Dragson. He can't pass.
I
an
don't.
odd
I'd
sign,
sell
mate.
him.
When
He's
that
not gonna go anywhere.
Karabag striker
Yeah.
pressed him and he got sent off, that was it.
Oh my days! Him under pressure is just
That was it.
Yeah.
He was done
Horrendous.
from
But
that
this
moment.
is it. We've made some very bizarre signings. And Dragusin again is someone now. Get rid.
He
Sell
is
him or
Yeah,
you
just
can.
get rid.
He is awful.
he's not going anywhere till at least January.
Yeah, well,
No.
the injury is not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we talk about someone who might be going, and obviously might be going after our pre-season tour? Son, we talked about him in our WhatsApp group through the cricket and the Love Island and whatever else we've been talking about. And I have said,
Son should not go on Love Island. by the way.
not allowed. If your rumours are true, not until his career's over. I've said all throughout the summer I would keep Son in it if he made 38 substitute appearances in the Premier League and 16 as we get to the Champions League final. Great. What a player to have around as your captain, blah, blah, blah. Still get you a number of goals. And I was always in the back of my head, have his legs gone? And I know Reading was 45 minutes in pre-season, but his brain seems to be still doing things and his legs are not following. He kept leaving the ball behind.
He looked quick though.
He's I don't know,
yeah.
James, and he's complaining against Reading. He's
Complaining
complaining
against
against his back, complaining about his back. I think I might actually be done. I feel like he's also
After all those years, half at Reading has convinced you.
No, I was so unsure. No, I was toying with it. You're right. As a half of Reading, but he just looks like I don't know.
There's just signs though as well.
Yeah, he just
from
looks.
the club. Frank's not talked about him. He's not sure who his captain is.
Is he getting in the way of somebody as well who actually we need to play? I think you were the same as me. 38 Premier League sub appearances. Let's just keep him.
I think he's going to go,
Yeah.
but I would keep him for the rest of his career
Yeah,
if he wants to.
maybe.
But look, if he wants to go, then you roll the red carpet out and say, where do you want to go, son? You can go on a free if you want. Like, I think he has elevated himself to a legendary status of a player that we've not seen
100%. Paint the mural
since
over
Ledley
Kane.
King, I would say.
He's the only legend now.
Yeah.
We had loads before we
So-
won a trophy, but now he's the only one.
I think you do right by Son, and if he wants to leave, then. But if he wants to stay, then he's.
But
the
are you
right to
concerned
stay.
that he might actually, his leg
Not
may
really.
actually have gone?
No, not
And
really.
he's getting in the way?
No,
No.
I still think he. I've got Solanke's talent level on quite a short leash, and I wonder if come January we're discussing, do we need to get someone better?
Yeah.
Son has the longest leash imaginable for me, even if it's at the. At some point, like, what's the point of all this? It's to just have great moments and have experienced greatness, and he's done that for me, and so he's beyond reproach for me.
Okay.
I appreciate that's not
I don't
the
wanna-
right way to look at it, but
Sometimes
that's what he is.
Sometimes you just have to put that pet down. Like, do you want to go, oh,
I'm
we left him too long and now he's shitting in the corner.
I think if
don't
he
know.
stayed, he could offer something. I think Frank's football works for Son. And again, it's pre-season performances. There were lots of players who looked rough. And
Yeah,
he
but
was one of them.
forget
No,
that. But what, how
but
does Frank's football help Son?
So Son has always been an inside forward,
Yeah.
off the left. You want him getting inside, dribbling I've always said dribble a centre back, not a full back, because he's not beaten a full back in his career.
Apart from the Elfsborg right back.
But apart from the Elfsborg striker at right back, I think he could do well. But I'm also in the sense of we look like we've moved on. We've got Odebear, Moore, and
Yeah, but
Tell.
those guys are so far behind. I'm still not ready for them to play 38
I
Premier
understand
League
that.
games.
I think Tell's going to be our first choice left winger this season.
Yeah,
and I think
possibly.
Son's going to go. But if I'm the club, I'm going, Son, if you want to stay, here's another 30 grand on top of your current contract, you can stay. If you want to go, you let him go. But it sounds
I
like we want
agree.
to keep him around
for the first time,
tour,
but also James,
and
for
we're
the
winding him up.
Well, he's got to go on this tour. For the
He
first
does.
time this afternoon, I agree with this Samuel fella. Take sentiment out of football. He can't dribble without
That's true.
pace.
Why would one take sentiment out of football? Like, what's the point of it? Otherwise?
this
like, I
point-
know what you're
at
saying,
this
but
point, I know.
What are we doing? We're just fans talking about football.
I know.
I don't like the way he's like, stay to do what? Get gone. I don't really like the attitude with it because I think Son is a hero, but he's probably going and that's fine.
When you
It's
talk about
fine.
Son benefiting from Frank football, I actually think Tell, who's someone I'm really unsure about, you great comment had about Solanke's talent on a short leash. I feel a little bit without Tell. I'm just not sure. I look at Kevin Schade, who came in, really struggled at the start. I know he had a few injuries. Ended that season brilliantly. Very similar player to Tell. And Frank really coached Schade into a good Premier League player. And I'm really hopeful, instead of Frank, and you probably said just go stand there and run forward when the ball comes to you. Frank will coach Tell. I think he will be our starting winger.
Yeah.
For me, Son,
I just
don't
think
know.
for a year
I think
with
the time
Tell-
might be up for him.
We've got a season to. We're not going to win the league this season.
We're not. But,
No.
But Daniel Levy said we.
I know. Daniel Levy said we're going to win the league this season.
So what you say?
Daniel said it. No.
Exactly.
I think Tell, you can give him a year. And the fact that he became a £30 million player rather than a 50, 60 million pound player makes it a little less painful.
Are we still in that place where we want, let's give him a year? We haven't got time to give people a year.
I think
now.
we do this season. Not that many. A couple. Like Telkin and Odebear can rotate on the left and we can
I
see which
still
one
think
works and then we can spin one off next summer.
I know what you're going to say.
What?
Still need a new left
We've got
winger.
the worst set of wingers in the
We
league.
desperately need a left winger. We do. We do desperately need.
I just
a
don't
left
think
winger.
we're gonna do
We're
it.
currently we've got Tell, who's a rookie, Odebear, who's a rookie and can't stay fit, and Son, who is finished completely. You know my thoughts on Son, right? How can you go into a season with that? I've been banging on about how long have I been telling you we need to sign a Mitoma or an Eze? We have to sign a quality left winger. I would rather put 60 million into signing Mitoma than Gibbs-White. We need a proper winger. A proper winger and Kudus with a
Can
Madison.
Kudus play on the left?
He can play on the left,
I
but
don't know why you'd want to do that.
I
though.
feel we'll end up
Because
with,
Frank
with,
likes
with
Johnson.
Johnson
Because
and
Frank
Kudus.
likes Johnson.
I think Tell gets
We
15
need-
goals
we
this
need-
season, but we are banking
We
on
need
potential.
a left winger. I'm sorry, we do. And if we get 30 million for Son, if we can, get a winger. I don't want it. We cannot go
James,
into a
that's-
season with
Son.
Tell and
I think
Odebear.
we can-
That's a
Can't.
great comment, James. We're banking on potential, and I'm
Yes,
a bit bored
exactly.
of that. I want adults in the room. I know Kudus is 24, 25. Experienced players, whether it's Premier League players or someone who's come out of Europe who's got 150 league appearances behind them. Enough of
I've got a horrible feeling we might
Potential.
end up seeing Johnson on the left, which
I hope we never do.
there was a period that under Ange in the 2024.
I
when
don't think
Kudus
we
was on the
will.
right, which was just
I think-
horrendous.
I
I think
I-
Tell's the first choice left winger.
I think Frank sees him as a left winger in the
I
Sharda
like Tell,
mould.
but it's a risk.
It is a risk, and I think we're going to take. I do think we'll take that risk. I don't necessarily disagree with you that we could go get a first choice, ready-made
We
option
need a
on the
proper
left.
pair of
But I
wingers, and
don't-
we're going into this
But
season.
I could
and
see that being telling Kudus. But the problem is you can't guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real issue. I think the system's going to suit Tell way more. I can see him getting good goals, but yeah, it is a bank on potential, and that is concerning. But if you've got, say about adults in the room, we've got a 28-year-old Maddison, might be signing a mid-20s Gibbs-White. We've signed a mid-20s Kudus, all these experience. We've got Solanke, who's scored 18 goals in the Premier League. Bentancur's still there. Romero is a World Cup winning centre-back. Van der Ven is young, but he's played a lot of minutes at world football. Porro is coming into his peak years. Udogie's young. So actually, when you look at our starting 11, loads of adults. We've just been crap.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But hopefully now with the new coach, a couple of good signings here and there, we won't be crap. And then we can give Tell, or we can develop Bergvall some more. Because none of you are going to bat an eyelid if Bergvall starts a lot of games.
No, I agree.
Even
with
though
that.
he had half a season of being pretty bad because he was 18-year-old shoved into the Premier League.
Yeah.
But then he developed on, and then at the end of the season, he won
also,
player of the
Tell and
season.
Odegaard are both going to miss a massive chunk of pre-season, aren't they, as well?
They're back now.
Oh, they are back?
Yeah, they came back early.
Okay, well, that helps.
So they play next week.
Yeah, I imagine they'll be in the squad next week.
Okay, fair.
If
All right.
Son stays, though,
Yeah.
I changed my tune as the Odegaard fan club director and said, maybe loan him.
That's a big change from you.
I love his ability, but like Tell has this mentality where he'll grab a game by the scruff of the neck and he'll try, and he will kind of lift some of his own ability with his mentality. Odegaard, I'm like, you've got all this talent.
He's quiet.
And I've just not seen. We've barely seen anything from him, but he seems like a quiet, reserved figure, and I'm like, you just do it.
I do think he's the one that might be in the biggest trouble. It doesn't seem like I don't really know what a Frank player is, but from what I'm reading and learning, he doesn't seem like a Thomas Frank player. All right, any other business, gentlemen? Luton
from
away?
me.
Jake?
Thompson
James?
is more like Rolf.
When am I going? I'm not going to go.
Mental comparison.
Oh, we sold Josh Keeley.
We did sell Josh Keeley. Yeah.
Woody woo.
Yeah.
Has anything happened while
I
we've
liked
been on
Donnelly in the. I liked Donnelly in the friendly. That was nice.
He's a very good footballer, but again, he's not going to play much.
I'd put 50 quid in him going to West Brom online
Yeah, with Ryan Mason.
with Big Money Mace.
Yeah. Okay. Luton away. Anyone going? I just looked it up. You need a lot of loyalty points for Luton away. Oh, Gazza. James, the producer's put a picture up of Gazza. Yeah, had some terrible stories last night of Paul Gascoigne collapsing at home and being in intensive care. I was saying to the guys off air, I went to see Paul Gascoigne, an evening with Paul Gascoigne a couple of weeks ago, and I'm sad to say that he was inebriated, could barely speak. It was an extremely... He had some great stories when eventually you could understand what he was saying, and the compere was prodding along and almost telling the stories for him. They brought Paul Merson out at one point. When you're bringing out Paul Merson to save
That's the straight guy.
the straight guy, you know, got a problem. I'm almost thinking, is Paul Merson waiting there? And every time Gazza's sober, they don't bring Paul Merson out. And Paul Merson was literally there to save the day, and he was pushing Gazza along with stories. The whole thing was very, very sad to see, and I'm not surprised to hear. Look, we're of an era. Gazza's a hero. I can't never remember how old you are, Ad. You probably
37.
in your late
so
20s.
Yeah, late 20s. 37, so I didn't quite... I was sort of 4 in 91, or 3.5 in 91,
Yeah.
so you slightly passed me by, Gazza, unfortunately.
I'm old
with
enough.
Spurs.
I'm old enough to remember that cup run in '91 when Gazza scored in every round, and what a player! And
He
obviously,
actually scored in every round.
I think all but one. Again, my memory's fading in my later years, but we all wish him well. It's terribly sad, but he needs a lot of help. But yeah, James, thanks for bringing that up. All right, gentlemen, Luton away. Like I was about to say, I've just looked it up. I was thinking, can I get a ticket? No, because you need about 260
I sat in the Red.
loyalty
You'd probably
points.
get a Luton ticket. I was in the Reading fans. with a load of
Yeah,
Spurs
maybe I
fans.
might look into that.
260, is that it? Actually?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. How
In
many
the
have
league,
you
it
got?
was about 400.
390?
Could you get me a ticket for Luton away?
I wouldn't ever discuss getting tickets for someone else on official
joking.
channels.
Who else we got? We got Luton and then Arsenal, isn't it? Is it Arsenal?
And Newcastle.
And Newcastle.
And Bayern Munich again, somehow.
Bayern Munich and PSG.
Yeah.
I wonder why we're playing Bayern Munich again. Do you think that's anything to do with the transfer?
How many
now?
years of that have we got from the Kane deal and maybe the Tell deal? Are we going to be playing them until 2047?
They should be coming to our
place.
place. We're going to them. They owe us money, don't they? Probably somewhere along the line.
Probably. All right, yeah. So we play Luton on the 26th. Then we play Arsenal on the 31st. Newcastle away. Newcastle on the 3rd, and then Bayern on the 7th. And then as champions of Europe, we play another champion of Europe in the Super Cup final. We're going to come to all of that soon. We're back. We'll be back again next Monday to talk about Luton away and the fiasco that is Morgan Gibbs-White making his debut for Man City in a pre-season friendly. All that stuff. We're back. Thank you to James Robbins, to Jake Saunders, to Adam Nathan. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you again next week. And up the Spurs.